out and asked if you had read the indictment. You said you read it word for word, page for page, right?
I did. I keep up. I love Jackson.
Even though they've not been in court and they've not been found guilty, it's just an indictment at this point.
They don't see it. My first statement was, think of your family. Think about your family. Put your family first.
I never thought in a million years we would have been put in the situation that we were in. Never. Because we went through our whole career doing the right thing.
It's utterly ridiculous to me. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Othor Cain Show. I'm Othor Cain. Glad to have you aboard on a Tuesday evening. We've got lots to talk about. Coming up tonight on the broadcast, we'll talk a little bit about the National Baptist Convention of USA. And I know that you've all heard about the controversy that's surrounding them. And they're not the only denomination. But I guess we've learned in recent days that the $300,000 was divided between several different organizations. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. Also coming up a little bit later, we'll be joined by State Representative Stephanie Foster, who will be along to talk about her support for candidates across the state, particularly in her district and in the Utica, Mississippi area. She supported the mayor there, and that race is being contested. We'll talk to her about how she perceives that race is going and the implications that her support is having towards some other organizations. But we're glad that you are here. We begin tonight with the story out of Canton, Mississippi, my hometown. And I gotta say, I'm so excited to be reconnecting with the City of Lights. Lots of good things happening in Canton, and we want to make sure that we keep you abreast. So we are excited tonight to be joined by Dr. Shannon Whitehead, who is the Alderwoman-elect for Ward 2 in the city of Canton. And she is also a superintendent for a school district in Philadelphia. And I remember when she was teaching in Canton, I think that's when we first connected. And so now she is a superintendent in Philadelphia. So Alderwoman-elect, I like saying that.
I do too. I like hearing it.
Whitehead, thank you for being here, man. We appreciate it.
Yes, it's a privilege and an honor. I was excited for you to reach out. I was like, of course. Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. I was so happy that you said yes, and I only had to ask one time because I know how busy you are, and I know how things are moving all at the same time. So let me just bring our folk up to speed. So Dr. Whitehead ran for alderman in Ward 2 and won out the gate there. And I began to wonder on Saturday. This past Saturday, I had an opportunity to speak at the installation and swearing in of the mayor and the alderman. And I'm looking, I was like, where's Dr. Whitehead? I can't believe she is not here, right? And so then the reporter in me started asking questions and trying to figure out what was going on. So
absolutely.
So at any rate, you were not there because you were waiting on the court's decision. There was a question as to whether or not you could serve as superintendent and serve as an alderperson in Canton. Now, what I thought was strange, but I know the law is the law. What I thought was strange was you're superintendent in Philadelphia, Mississippi. You live in Canton, Mississippi, and you're representing Canton, two totally separate towns.
Municipalities, absolutely.
Yes. Two totally separate municipalities, but yet the law says that it's two different branches of government, right? Two different branches of government, and so a ruling came out today. Let's talk about that. So because it's two separate branches of government, the law says that you could not be compensated for both.
Both.
When did you realize, Dr. Whitehead, that there was potential conflict?
February.
In February.
Yes, Othor, you have to realize I'm an avid reader, right? And I am policy and law is what governs me as a superintendent. So this was not new that, that I could not be compensated. It's not said, and that's just an AG's opinion also. And we also have to, when I read it at first, it hit me like a ton of brick because I was like, whoa, this was even asked years ago by attorney Barbara Blackman. She posed the same question. And then one of my good friends who was also a superintendent in Hazelhurst at the time, was an appointed superintendent in Hazelhurst, but was alderman in Aberdeen, Dr. Garth, he went through the same exact thing. And so once we started looking at everything and going through, talking back and forth with our attorneys, it was like, okay, it's just the compensation. Well, guess what? I wasn't in it for the money anyway. I was in it for the servicehood. I was in it for the change, because we have so many possibilities here in Canton, and some things you cannot put a price tag to. You cannot put a price tag to helping out our constituents of Canton. You cannot put a price tag to, I have a son that lives in Canton. I'm trying to make Canton better for him. Absolutely. I have a mother who's also a senior citizen. I'm thinking about her. So how can I put a price tag to that? You cannot pay me enough for the service that we're going to be placing here in Canton. I'm excited about it. So the money was never a factor. Yeah, we knew about this in February.
Yeah. It's interesting. That is so funny because I'm telling you, I didn't know that you were dealing with any of this until Saturday, right? But I will tell you that after I announced that you were going to come on, someone sent me an article from February, I guess out of the Philadelphia area, maybe something Democrat out of the Philadelphia area, and I think that your school board there thought that you had withdrew from the alderman's race. Was there some controversy there?
Just a small little bit of communication there. Before I even decided to run for alderman or alderwoman, the first set of individuals that I got God's blessings from was from my board. My board in Philadelphia Public Schools is top down, bar none, one of the best servants in the state of Mississippi. Awesome. And so we run a tight ship in Philadelphia Public. So before I even, first I asked my pastor. And then I went for my board, right? I went for my bosses, and they all gave me their blessings because they understand the impact of being an elected official also. Being an elected official is a big thing in Neshoba County, and it's important. So they understood all of that. So when a little bit of this kind of got ruffled, just a little, but my board 100% understood my stance in running for alderwoman. But Philadelphia is number one, being that is my job. My job is to serve the students of Philadelphia Public Schools, and I put them foremost number one. Absolutely. So once we got all of that situated, we was ready to roll. Like I said, in February, when I got the Attorney General's opinion, it kind of hit me. But then I also had advice from wise counsel, because that's who I seek first. That's right. I don't seek the opinion of others. I go into, I started talking to some of these elected officials that's already sitting at the national level. I've had individuals to reach out to me that serve on the state Senate level, legislative, and they said, Whitehead, let's do this. We can do this. And so once I received, wise counsel, talked to my pastor, he made me dry out my tears, and we were ready to roll.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And so the judge essentially ruled today that you would serve in a de facto position as alderwoman on the Canton Board of Aldermen, which means, and I read it like 4 times, and then I got a legal opinion, and it essentially means that you could perform all of the duties of an alderman. Your vote, you could perform all of those duties. You just can't be compensated, nor can you be reimbursed for travel. And
that's fine.
And right. But you'll have your vote, all of that will be just as heavy as a regular older person. Since
Legal,
you are an older person, you just not getting paid.
legal and binding.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so I would want you to give
Mm-hmm.
the citizens of Ward 2 and Canton as a whole the assurance that
Yeah,
you are in this, you are committed to this, and you are
100%.
leading with integrity.
Listen, I was not raised to back down from anything, right? And I'm also reminded of the Bible verse from Esther 4:14. I was born for a time such as this, you
Yes,
know. No
yes.
one can tell me what I can't do. Representation matters, and especially during a high time. We need good leaders in the position. We need good leaders that's ready to move. We need innovative leadership that's sitting at the table making these decisions that have the best interest for all the constituents inside of Canton, Mississippi. So, no, Ward 2, we're ready to roll. I'm getting ready to send out my calendar for the year of the events that we already have lined up. We're getting ready to talk about our Ward 2, which is our monthly meetings, where I'll be giving them the updates of our board meetings, which already have the layout for our monthly newsletters. They know I will email and text them. So Ward 2, we're ready to roll. Actually, we started one of our first initiatives on Juneteenth. Dr. Angela Carson reached out to our ward to do a cleanup project, and we went over to Anderson's Park and we cleaned up that park. We had maybe 20 volunteers. And we had a great time, a great turnout, and we did some awesome things. We had some neighbors to come out and just say how appreciative they were of us actually putting on a project for that particular park. We have a beautiful neighborhood, and it's just a melting pot for all of the goodness that we have here in Canton.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Danielle raised a good question. I didn't even think about this when I was reading all of this stuff today. Danielle says, what's the difference in individuals such as Senator David Jordan in Greenwood, Mississippi, serving as a state senator and as a city council person in that area? She's asking, I didn't even think about that.
Y'all, I just looked at the Attorney General's opinion stating that I could not serve as on the executive leg as well as the legislative leg. Being that the executive leg was the superintendent, that I make policies, I make and govern policies for a state school, as well as I'll be making and governing policies for city municipalities. So I could have been anything else. I could have been a principal, assistant superintendent, but because I hold the title of superintendent, I am the executive member to push policy, make policy, board, and govern policy.
Got it. Mm-hmm. And maybe as I'm thinking about it, I don't know. When our city council is just like an alderperson, so they make laws, right?
Make laws, policies, govern. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So they're the same thing. That's interesting. That's a very interesting comparison. Well, I'm excited for you. I am excited about the breath of fresh air that's hitting Canton right now.
Do you hear me? It's like, man, to be honest, when we first when the voting and everything first started in this political season, it was like, woo, these people are on it. You know, we have our, even with the good and bad talk, it's talk.
Right.
It was a time when it was just silence, right? When it was whoever ran, they won. But now people have a vested interest in the future of Canton, and that is to be commended. Whether you voted for me or whether you didn't, I'm your alderwoman, and I'm here to serve you. And it's just a fresh breath of air to have all of these individuals, brand new, sitting at the table saying, hey, how can we make Canton different? And I really want to make sure that our constituents of Canton come to the board meetings, join in. We don't need anyone sitting on the sidelines with the sidebar conversations. We need everybody at the table. Your voice count, what you think count, whether it's nay or yay. We need everybody's buy-in so that we can make Canton better.
Very good. Very good. And you know what else is exciting? 4 ladies as alderwomen.
Who run the world, girl? Beyonce, a little bit of Beyonce right there.
That's right. That's pretty cool. 4 ladies as alderwomen there.
Well, you got to think about it. It's Deborah season.
I hear that. I hear you.
It's time for us to rise up. It's time for us to rise up. It's time for us to take charge. It's time for us to get in leadership position. It's time for us to get in alignment. What better time than now?
Absolutely. And if memory serves me correctly, what you and three ladies, three new people on this board of Parliament, right?
Yes, it will be Cynthia Allen as well as Janice Diamond. And
All
along
three.
with myself, all three.
All three of you are
We'll
brand new.
start with Monica Gilkey. And this
Right.
will be the first time in Canton's history of having 4 leading women sitting at the table.
That's amazing. That's
4
amazing.
out of the 7.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Y'all got the power.
Got the power.
Y'all got the power.
Absolutely.
Right. I also think though it really speaks to the need and the desire that the people of Canton wanted change.
For change. But also I do want to petition our men. Men, we need you involved. We need more men running for these offices. We need more men sitting at these tables also. You know, we really do. We need everyone. The need for change was there, and it was loud in my ward. It was like boom, you know, winning with 69% of the votes. Whoo, that hasn't been done. That's like historic, right? And so I started receiving calls because I really didn't understand, you know, what an impact that was until I started receiving calls like, 70% wanted Dr. Whitehead. I said, oh, wow, that's an honor. You know, that's an honor. And it's definitely, I was filled with gratitude to have that many people believe in me and trust in me with the great responsibility of being the alderwoman.
Absolutely. That's huge. That's a true testament of who you are as a person and the work that you've done long before becoming an elected official. So that's what that speaks to. It absolutely speaks to your being at McNeil.
Yes, McNeil days, the McNeil. Absolutely.
That's what it speaks to. So tell me a little bit about your priorities. What's first for you?
Okay, so first and foremost is education and youth empowerment. We have to get these youth involved. We have to make sure that our alignment of what we see as Canton is also a direct reflection of what we're seeing in our school district. Contrary to popular belief, the city school is a direct correlation to the city. So when we have our schools thriving, when we have our schools succeeding, we have our schools performing at the highest level, it brings in everyone. It brings in all of the economic development. It brings in the housing development. It brings in everyone to the center pot to say, yes, we want to move here in Canton. We want our businesses here in Canton. We want our jobs here in Canton. We can see a return on investment based off what we see in our school district. The next thing is public safety and strong neighborhoods. We have to get out and really make sure that the people in Canton understand that we're here to make sure that they are safe, that our children are going to school safe, that our children can play in neighborhoods and grow up in a safe environment. I was also excited to see UMMC coming into our hospital because having a better healthcare system and a better healthcare service here in Canton is one of my top priorities, because if the community is healthy, it will thrive.
Absolutely.
Healthy in all areas. So those are my top 3.
I love that. Sounds like you are ready to hit the ground.
Absolutely. Othor, listen. I can say so much, but yeah, what do I want for my child? What do I want for my parents? What do I want for my neighbors who is 89 years old and walk the parks twice a day? You know, what do I see for the future of Canton? We are literally the sleeping giant, and everyone in the state of Mississippi knows it. It's time for Canton, for us, the residents here, to know how big of an impact that we can make. You know, Governor Tate Reeves stated that the Amazon Web Service is considered to be Mississippi's largest economic development project. And it's happening right down Highway 22. what we
right.
call Peace Street. And
That's
it's
right.
happening right here in Canton, Mississippi, largest economic development. It's time for us to tap in. It's time for us to grow stronger. It's time. It's time.
You know, sometimes we don't even recognize the gold mine that we're
No.
sitting in, right? We don't even recognize sometimes what's in our own backyard.
Too close to the mirror.
That's right. That's
Now
right.
it's time for us to step back and realize how beautiful and the possibilities of the Canton City of Lights. It's named it for a reason. Now it's time for us to turn on these light bulbs and light it up.
Look,
Those in the comments. Drop those in the comments.
hey, look. So a lot of your friends and fans are popping up light bulbs in the comments because you're old.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Exit 119, City of Light.
Exit 119. Man, it sounds like changes in the air, freshness and bright ideas there in the air as well. And I am glad to see you're in such a great mood, because if anybody thought that you would be turned by money, they thought wrong, right?
Totally wrong. Totally wrong. I never, not a single position that I've ever entered was because of the money. You can't pay me enough to educate kids. You can't pay me enough to have the love and the joy and the strategy behind how to make a thriving school system thrive, and shine. There is no amount of money that you can put there. So it's definitely not an amount that you can place on the individual, on me, as it relates to being an elected official that my constituents felt such a pride in electing me to do, that I would just say, oh, okay, for 20,000. Oh no, not at all. Not at all. The end results is going to be endless. It's going to be abundance. And I also believe in the overflow. The more you give, the more he gives to you.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears, but not really switch gears. But let's talk a little bit about your work in Philadelphia. How long have you been there now?
I've been there 3 years. It's going on my 4th year. And man, it's been a ride. I love it. I love my children. I have some of the best parents, best school. Like I said, I can top down, hands down, best school board in the state of Mississippi. And I may be biased because those are my bosses. But they have a keen sense and a vested interest in the school district because their children attend the school district and they are alumni of the school district. So it's a whole different, beast that's placed on my shoulders because they care from alumni stance as well as a parent stance and being a board member stance. So I've been there 3 years, going on into my 4th, August coming up. We have done some tremendous things there, which includes updating the HVAC systems, placing a state-of-the-art gym floor, updating all of the restrooms. We bought school buses, and this is just in year 1 and 2 of me being the superintendent. And this last school year, we have historically risen to being a high-performing school district. That has never happened in the being of Philadelphia Public Schools. And so we started changing the culture, changing the buy-in of what the children receive there, having 100% buy-in from our teachers. We have some of the best staff ever that really love Philadelphia Public Schools. They can teach anywhere on East Mississippi side, but they tend to be vested in Philadelphia Public School District. So we're doing some great things.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Now, I don't know why this is on my mind, and I don't even know if I'm right. Now, when you were appointed there, what was the state like on the verge of taking over the district? Were you appointed to one of those districts?
No, we wasn't on the verge of state takeover, but we were derated.
Okay, got it.
We were derated.
And I asked that out of ignorance because when I started reading that article that somebody sent about the school board, or you're talking about a school board, because when the state takes over, there's no school board there.
There's no school board. It will be just only the state of Mississippi.
Absolutely. So you took over a D-rated district, and where are you now?
We are a B.
That
B, high performing, first time ever in history.
That's incredible.
Man, I give it to the teachers, the staff there. Oh man, They will go over and beyond for those babies. And the children, they want it, Othor. You know, they when I say Philly pride, it's a whole different atmosphere there. They love their school and the parents. The parents will go over and beyond for their kids, but also for me.
That's good. That's good.
They will fight a bull for Dr. Whitehead because they know I'll do the same for their children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you miss the classroom at all?
Absolutely. That's my safe haven. I run to the classroom anytime that it's becoming too much in the central office, or anytime that it's just like, oh, am I really doing this? I go to a kindergarten classroom. I go walk the third grade hall. I go sit inside of the biology classroom and play with the chickens, you know, because that's my purpose. My purpose is right there. My safe haven is right there with children, you know, in understanding what are their needs. They know that they can come to Dr. Whitehead about anything. My email is lit up from children, never staff. It's always about the children asking, Dr. Whitehead, can we get this tutorial services? Dr. Whitehead, can you make sure that this teacher look over my grade? I'm like, listen now, y'all. But they understand that someone is there that love them and support them. And so I don't mind them emailing me. I'm always in the midst of children, because that's my purpose. I even tell my staff, that's my ticket to heaven, doing right by children. Doing right by children and making sure that they get the best of the best. Man, yeah.
Let me tell you something. I think I might steal that one, because I think that's my ticket. I think that's my ticket as well.
When I saw you with those third graders, I said, all right, I'm getting my watchdogs. Come on, right. I'm doing like Othor. I want everybody lined up.
Absolutely.
Shaking hands with my babies, going into those school buildings, because it makes a difference when they feel supported.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I am so grateful that you was with us tonight. So grateful that you're ready to serve. Real quick, I want to just ask you, as July 1 is quickly approaching, are you ready for your first alderman meeting?
Yes, I am. I'm about to ask the clerk tomorrow, just trying to get in alignment with sending me the agenda, so I can go ahead and look over everything while I'm headed to Beyonce concert. I can be reading through the paperwork, and when I get off the plane and ready for July 1, I'll be ready for the first board meeting and be very well read, as well as knowledgeable about what's going on in our city.
My boy Jameson Stokes says, we applaud and appreciate the exemplary leadership Dr. Whitehead has exhibited. We know she'll do amazing things in service of her people.
Thank you, bestie. That's my best friend.
Knox says she sure does. Philly pride, servant, leader. That's my girl.
Gamma Row. That's my line sister and best friend too. Good people there, though, Othor. Good people.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I am looking forward to your leadership in Canton. I am absolutely looking forward to it. I am looking for a shift in the atmosphere in that boardroom in Canton, and I think that you're going to be one of the ones to lead that.
I'm ready. Just keep me lifted. Keep me lifted. This was fun. Call me anytime. Absolutely, but I think we're about to do some good things in Canton.
I'm looking forward.
I can honestly say, like Bruno Mars say, don't believe me, just watch.
Just watch. Watch you work, right? Watch you work. Watch you work. You have an open door here. If ever you need to come on, get something out, know that you have an open invitation.
Thank you. Okay? Thank you so much, friend. I appreciate you and I love you so much. And thank you for the service that you're doing for all of our elected officials. We need this platform to put out the right and the wrong. We need this voice. And I'm just glad that you have the courage, right? Because it takes courage, Othor, to do what you do.
Well, I
you know.
appreciate that.
And I am 100% an Othor fan.
Ah,
And it makes it even better that you're from Canton.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Thank you. All the best to you. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best. And we'll be
Thank
watching.
you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, we appreciate it. That's
Okay.
Dr. Sharon Whitehead, who is the Alderwoman-elect for Ward 2 in the city of Canton, and she begins her service. July 1st is just right around the corner. So she begins July 1 in that position. And so we are excited to see what's to come. And we are excited to see the service that she will bring to the city of Canton. She made a really, really excellent point, because when people vote overwhelmingly for change, they're looking for something new, right? They're looking for something different. They're looking for growth. They're looking for change. You know, people truly understand when things have been stuck, when things have been stagnated. People really do understand that. And so we're looking for the change that we know she will bring. So we are awaiting Representative Stephanie Foster's appearance. She had a speaking engagement. I think that she is still there. So we'll move to our next subject as we await her arrival. So unless you've been living under a rock, right? Unless you, thank you, Tamika, I appreciate that. Unless you've been living under a rock, you may have missed the National Baptist Convention USA. I was first alerted the other day. Someone sent me a link to Roland Martin's speech, and Roland, I thought he was in a pulpit, but I guess it was just some platform he was standing behind, and I was like, "Oh, Roland is cussing at church." You know, sometimes I wish I had the courage, right? And so when he began reading a piece of the press release, and I'm thinking, you know, I can't believe this. And he talked about $300,000. And listening to him, I was under the impression that Target had given the National Baptist Convention USA $300,000. And I was thinking, even that wasn't a lot of money, right? I was thinking that wasn't a lot of money. I cannot believe a religious leader would take money from Target during a national boycott. I was totally thrown off by that. And then I saw where a preacher posted and said that they had this great week at the convention, that they did some good things and that the Lord was lifted. And I thought, you know, that's fine. It still doesn't mean that they didn't take the money, right? So you may have had a great time that week, and you may be doing some awesome things that week, but all of that is overshadowed, and it means nothing to no one, because this has taken the headlines. But it wasn't until I watched Jamal Bryant to break the money down. We've got that video, and we want you to take a listen, and we've got some thoughts on the other side.
In 1961, the National Baptist Convention was meeting, and they did not want to support a young preacher from Georgia named Martin Luther King. They said, "You speaking too loud about civil rights. We don't want you to do all of that. Just preach and sit down. Don't march. Don't make a stand. Don't challenge the government." And as a consequence, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Gardner Taylor walked out of that church and started the Progressive Baptist Convention, where we come in full circle. And I need you to know, it wasn't just the National Baptist of America. It was also the National Baptist of USA. It was also the Missionary Baptist. It was also the Church of God in Christ. And the $300,000 was not per institution. They gave them Negroes $75,000 for them to just sit down and roll over. Not me, Jack. I called the president president of the National Baptist Convention. I said, Rev, we can't go out like that. We are selling ourselves short. He said, Jamal, give me a couple of days. Let me get the board together. I said, bro, you can get your board together, but Sunday morning I'm going to the mic and I got to say something. And you got to give me something to work with. He said, Pastor Bryant, give me a couple of days and I will do it. I said, you got 1 week to send me in writing that the Baptist Convention stands with the boycott, stands with the oppressed, stands with the marginalized, stands with the nameless and faceless people who are on the front line. $75,000. Baptist Convention, I'll write you a check. You can't sell yourself out for $75,000.
Man, when he broke those numbers down like that, for me, it made it even worse. It made it even worse. $75,000. And this boycott has already cost them millions and millions and millions of dollars. So they can just throw this little chump change in our face, dangle this little carrot in our face, and we're so gullible, we take it. What are they supposed to do? Right? Like taking this $75,000. What is the return on that? Right? What are they supposed to deliver? Because here's what I can tell you. Here's what I can tell you with absolute certainty. The boycott continues. The boycott continues. People are not listening to them. I don't care what their title is, right? People aren't listening to that. People aren't moved by that. Let me tell you something. If Target has not changed its position on diversity, equity, and inclusion, there's really nothing to talk about. I don't care how much money you take. There's really nothing to talk about. If they've not changed their position on diversity, equity, and inclusion, I don't care what these religious leaders say. Not listening. Pauline, absolutely not listening to them at all. Not listening. Not listening at all. You know, I think that they need to understand that, leadership is earned through service and not a title, right? Leadership is earned through service and not a title. The boycott is still happening. You sold your souls, each of you, for $75,000. And this boycott has cost Target to lose millions of dollars? Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? But I like the way Jamal tied into the fact that this convention has been on the wrong side of right for a very, very long time. They tried to silence Martin Luther King. Right? Ask the president of Target, who's had to have his salary slashed because of the amount of money Target is losing. Right? They've lost millions of dollars because of the boycott. Right? I was just going to ask you to put Dr. Kimber's statement up. Look at this, what's on your screen. The NBCUSA remains steadfast and is committed to holding corporations accountable to ensure African Americans receive equitable opportunities in contracting, employment, and other vital areas of investment. The National Baptist Convention of the USA, founded in 1886, is the nation's oldest and largest African American religious convention with over 31,000 churches and 7.5 million members. Let's go back to this one sentence. Let's put that back up again and go back to this one sentence. Remains steadfast and is committed to holding corporations accountable to ensure African Americans receive equitable opportunities in contracting, employment, and other vital areas of investment. You got $75,000 from a company who has given no regard whatsoever to its DEI practices, and you think that you have the wherewithal to hold them accountable for hiring. Okay, put it back up there one more time, because I want to add a couple of words to this, and y'all might hate me, but I want to add some words, right? I want to add a few pronouns, right? Or adjectives. I'm sorry. So listen, the NBCUSA remains steadfast and is committed to holding corporations accountable to ensure African Americans receive equitable opportunities in contracting, employment, and other vital areas of investment. Here's where I want to add a few words. The National Baptist Convention USA, founded in 1886, is the nation's oldest and largest and apparently dumbest and divisive. Oldest and largest, and perhaps dumbest and most divisive. To think that you have any kind of influence on Target. It took $75,000. So you're saying they're paying you, right? They're paying you, or they paid you, or gave you $75,000 apiece to hold them accountable to their hiring practices. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. It doesn't. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Right? Come on, man. Come on. We dangle a little piece of carrot known as money in our faces, and we fold just like that. I think what they did is very divisive. It's very counterproductive to the movement. Help me understand it, folks. Help me understand that. Help me understand that. And you think you can hold somebody accountable? Are you kidding me? I don't get that. I don't get that one at all. And when I say at all, I mean at all. I don't get that at all. The decision to do this is fundamentally flawed, and that's another thing. That's another thing Pastor Brian shared. Fundamentally flawed, and I think people are outraged by this. The decision to take this money is fundamentally flawed. So do you think we really want to hear that y'all had a great time last week, that y'all are doing some great work, and that all of this stuff is being overshadowed by this decision? Of course it is. Do you think differently? Would it not? Of course it's overshadowed by the ignorance of that decision to take that money. Right? No one cares about your good week. No one cares about the good work that you are doing. when your leadership is making decisions like this. It's bad, man. This is bad. This is absolutely bad. It speaks to being self-serving. It's divisive, it's counterproductive, it speaks to being self-serving. And I wrote some other thoughts down about that. Let me find my little note too, because I want to make sure I share that as well. And let me say this. I'm so proud of Black women. I am so proud of Black women because you are standing 10 toes down on this. You know, and I get sometimes, you know, when you boycott, people look at who's leading and people can get jealous about that. People can. People can. You know, some folk are confused about how the boycott started. And I just want to be clear: no one person or organization cold called this movement. Everyday people did this. Everyday people, Black, Latino, and from the looks of the comments, you know, on some of my social media, some white folks too dropped Target like a bad habit the moment they saw the disrespect aimed at our community. Some of us stepped in to help bring structure, strategy, and information. And that leadership has worked. Ask the CEO of Target and his team, right? I'll say this: taking new money from Target in the middle of a national boycott tied to a movement that's bigger than one company is hurtful, harmful, divisive, and counterproductive. And that includes, but it's not limited to, Black church denominations, because again, yes, we learned that there are others have taken money from Target throughout this boycott too. But no matter who's taking the checks or who's deciding to sidestep months of hard work and discipline, every post that I have read in the last few days makes one thing very clear to me: the people are not backing down. The boycott continues. And as my grandmother would say, there are some folk that won't take not nail red cent from Target. And as a young folk would say, because we are standing on business. So keep going, y'all. Yeah, David, you right, man. David, you are right, man. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So keep going. The boycott continues. These issues in our community aren't new, and they will all get worked out. We've been here before. You know, we understand the conquer and divide. We understand that, and that's what this is. Our job, and be very clear, our job is to remind Target and everybody else what happens when they play with us. That's our job. We got one job. So I don't care about the leader. The boycott continues, Pauline. I don't care about a religious leader at all. Not in the least. Nice try, Target. Nice try, Negroes, for taking the money. But nah, the boycott continues. Yeah, Tamika, we are accustomed to this conquer and divide mentality. It's an age-old thing. Give us a little money, conquer and divide us, and they win. It's an age-old strategy. It's an age-old strategy. But nice try, Target. Nice try. You probably should have kept that $300,000 for all the money you're going to continue to lose, and probably even more now, right? We ain't going out like that. We're not going out like that. All right, so it appears that Representative Foster is not going to join us tonight. Her engagement is going longer. We'll try to get her on at a later time. But I do want to just kind of talk about or hit some of the points that we were going to raise and questions I was going to ask her during our conversation. I'll kind of just give some high points as we prepare to close tonight. So if you know Representative Foster, then you know that if she believes in you, she's going to walk the streets for you. She's going to campaign for you. And she's doing that. She did that in Utica. And apparently, according to her, I have not read the story from 16, so I can't really comment, on the story itself. But according to Representative Foster, 16 WAPT presented a one-sided story that was not laced with facts. Representative Foster believes that this target on her, in terms of her support in Utica, really stems from her supporting a candidate for a candidate that is vying to fill the Senate seat that will soon be left vacant by Mayor-elect John Horn. Stephanie Foster stands toe-to-toe with Kamisha Mumford. She stands solidly in support of Kamisha Mumford, and so do I. I believe that Kamisha happens to be the best candidate in this race. And so Representative Foster believes that her support for Kamisha Mumford is causing Women for Progress to reach out to media, reach out to different organizations to attempt to raise concern about Stephanie's support of Kamisha Mumford, because apparently the Women for Progress are supporting another candidate for this Senate district race. And Representative Foster believes Women for Progress, and people do this. Politics bring out the worst in people, and people just stoop to all kinds of levels, and they just do some crazy things. And we've seen firsthand the nasty things that Women for Progress that they've done in previous elections. So I don't see anything different happening in this space. And so Representative Foster believes that this attempted backlash, because it's not going to work, this attempted backlash is being driven by Women for Progress. She tends to think that they are making calls, reaching out to folk, trying to find a legal reason why Representative Foster cannot support candidates. Pauline, it's good to read that you're standing with Kamisha as well. Kamisha is also from Canton. She and I sat together Saturday when I was the keynote at the installation and swearing in for the newly elected, the new slate of officers in Canton. And Kamisha is more than qualified. We had a great conversation. Very humble, and will work hard to earn your support, to earn your vote. And she and her husband Gerald, they've done nothing but support the community at various events, and they've stood strong and solid in this district for years. And it's time to elevate folk. When they've served, right? What other candidate has served in this district, right? What other candidate has really shown themselves to be true public servants in this district. And so I look forward to having the conversation with Representative Foster because it sounds like to me there are women with no progress. If they are doing this, right? If they are doing this, we've learned in elections past that they've pretended to interview folk to come up with a clean slate of folk to support, and we've learned that that never happened, right? I just don't believe, and this is my fundamental belief. I just don't believe if Dorothy Stewart was alive, that Women for Progress would be operating in this manner. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that if Dorothy Stewart, whom I love and respected, was alive, that this organization would have these kind of women in place leading. Right? I refuse to believe that Dorothy Stewart would stand for this level of ignorance and this level of pettiness. I just absolutely refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that. Tippy says Women for Progress of Mississippi has shifted since the founder is no longer with us. I truly miss her, Dorothy Stewart. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just don't think I just don't think this organization would be going in this direction if Dorothy Stewart was alive. They've taken a turn for the worse in my mind. But I will withhold judgment in this space. I can only talk about what they've done before. I'll withhold judgment in this space until we have an opportunity to have a one-on-one with Stephanie Foster. So we will await her appearance at another date. All right, we'll await her appearance at another date. Hey, listen, you guys, want to tell you thank you for rocking with us, with us. And I should have pulled this reel to play tonight and did not. But thank you for rocking with us. I gotta send a big shout out to all of the men and the other um, Sandra, thank you for saying that. Sandra says she support Kamisha. She worked for Gerald to get him elected the first time he ran. She's her candidate. Thank you, Sandra, for saying that. We stand with Kamisha. I'm looking forward to freshness and change. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. But big shout outs to all of you that have supported our efforts at Galloway Elementary School this summer with those third graders. Shouts out to everybody that brought water and juice, chips, cookies, candy, pies. I want to say greens, beans, tomatoes, you name it. But shout out to all community, all of you, for stepping up and for helping us. We are grateful. We are absolutely grateful for every dime that you've given, for every act of kindness that you have shown. We are absolutely grateful. And the kids are just enjoying it. Talked to one young man today who took the test today, and I asked him, how do you think? I just said, how do you think you did? How do you feel? How do you think you did? And he said, Mr. Cain, honestly, I went to bed early. I ate and went to bed early because the teacher was stressing strategies. And he said, my only mistake the last time that I took the test is that I forgot to flip the test over. He said he didn't even use the word forgot. I'm sorry. He said I didn't even think to flip the test over. I just didn't even think to flip it over. He said on the front part, on the front side, I got all of those right. I got all of those answers right. I just didn't even think to flip it over. And so he said he ate, he got a good night sleep, and he just felt pretty good about his performance today. So testing continues tomorrow and Thursday. It's a 3-hour-long test. It's a 3-hour-long test. And I can't even imagine being in the third grade and being under that kind of pressure. Can't even imagine. But thank you, community. And I especially want to thank all of the men, and a few women were sprinkled in there too, that showed up Monday morning to kick off testing week. You will never know the impact that you had and made on the lives of those third graders. To see that level of support from all walks of life, all professions, all faith, all socioeconomic backgrounds, you showed up. You showed up. You showed up. You showed up. And I am eternally, eternally, eternally grateful. We're going to give the kids a pizza party on Friday. You're welcome to come join us and be there with us to celebrate them. Friday is it. It's done. Big shout out to all of the teachers who worked this summer to work with those kids. You are the real MVPs, right? You are the real MVPs. So shout out to all of the teachers. And when that young man told me, one of his teachers talked about strategy, right? Talked about strategy, and he wanted to go to bed, so that he would not fall asleep during the 3 hours, because it's 3 hours long. And they don't have to use the whole 3 hours, but they are locked in that room for 3 hours, because they can go to the restroom, of course, but they have to stay there, right? They have to pass a note out if they want to get them out of there, And here's what I know for sure. And I know we got to get out of here, but here's what I know for sure. Everybody does not do well on standardized tests, right? Everybody don't do well on standardized tests, and so these kids have worked hard. They have worked hard. And if they don't pass this week, they'll be retained. They won't go to fourth grade. They won't go to fourth grade. So thank you, Sandra. And thank you, everybody, for all of your prayers. Thank you for all of your support. Y'all rock. And this is why I fight and go hard for Jackson. Because after all of the political rhetoric, after all of the ignorance, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the real work, right? This is the real work. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Feel free, swing by, swing by the pizza party on Friday. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. All right? Don't stop supporting. Don't stop praying. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you again.